then Donald is usually on his own that side.
I can cope. I'm a lonesome person.
He pitches in, when convenient.
Yes.
Classic one. Last week we had Ryan Spence. Ryan Spence.
Oh, yeah.
And
Mr. Menace.
No. That's Menace's brother.
All right, okay.
No, because
not Shane Spence.
Not Shane.
Okay.
His brother. Yeah.
Okay.
Because the weird thing about, because I knew Shane as the musician, as the one, because he was with Woods Underground a while back. But I didn't know that, Ryan Spence. Well, to be honest, I didn't even know that there was a Ryan Spence until you mentioned him.
Yeah, we bumped up to one another in Fade's Barbershop.
Yeah.
And with Fade's Barbershop with Andrew and Kevin 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
And I just happened to bump into him. And I was saying that that's one of the beauties about the barbershop. And the premise of Trims and Talks is the barbershop. Well, actually, you sort of go to the barbershop there and you don't know what sort of conversation is going to happen. You don't know who's going to be there, but usually you're going to get an interesting conversation about whatever, and it doesn't stay on one topic. Sometimes it can go all over the place, etc. there, and that's something which I think Fades is a classic barbershop.
It is a meeting ground,
Andrew and Kevin, they're like pillars in the community, and I bet so much info and conversations have passed through that barbershop over the years, definitely.
Because one of the things that we usually ask people is, can you remember the first time you went to the barbershop? But in your case, you go Loxo, which is kind of a different kind of conversation with you.
Well, I've had a lot of barbershop experience.
Does that sound good, bad?
Well, I only started growing these dreads during lockdown. Because of lockdown, you know what I mean? I just got bored and I thought, let me just... But before that, though, I had a skinhead. I just kept my head bald. And one thing, I used to go to the barbershop a lot. Suave, Errol Barbershop.
Yes.
I've been to Andrew's and Kevin's, but I used to go to Suave's a lot. And one of the things with barbershop, with me, I don't like queuing, I don't like waiting. You know what I mean? And in the barbershop, you have to wait.
And else you just do the booking, don't you?
Yes.
It is the booking.
They start the booking, which is a great idea.
Yeah.
But by that point, I'd already bought my own clippers, and I started thinking, I'm just doing number one all over. I can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
And I don't have to queue.
Because there is a locksman, isn't there, which is Kevin up on
Locks.
City Road.
Kev Locks.
Kiva Locks.
Kiva Locks.
I've never been to a shop. I've tried many times. I've tried to get a booking, but he's so busy.
I know he's very busy.
Well, you go there, because it takes a long while with the locks. I've been in there a number of times there, and he's there, and he's usually got a couple of women there helping him as well there. So you've got women and men there getting their hair done, etc. And it looks like it's a long, long job.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. Because I know my missus, she's currently trying to detangle hers.
Yes.
And it's taking like forever in the day. It's a process. And I think it's a lot of patience. And, but in your case, who does your locks?
With my locks, I go to this lady called Victoria. She used to have a shop on Infirmary Road, but now she does it from her house.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
But it's still like one of those things where you spend almost the whole day.
Yeah, this would take maybe 3 hours. Not too bad. But, that's long. That is pretty long.
No, it is. It really is. Because, like you're saying, when we go to Kevin's, it's just 5-10 minutes. In our cases, I mean, we don't really, it's just the scraping of the scalp. It is.
Scrape up that little bit.
They do more on my face now than my head.
I remember, let me tell you, I have this niece. I have one of my brothers, his hair started, he's started receding. It's like, she says to him, Uncle Mark, so when you're washing your face, where do you start? You know what I'm saying?
You say it comes to his own,
It really does.
But it's like,
brutal.
Gambingo, who works with us, and he cut off his locks for charity.
Yes, he did.
He had really long locks.
Yes.
I think I know him.
Gambingo.
Now, I have to say, that was about 6 months ago, and I'm thinking, his hair's coming back thick.
Yes.
And I'm actually very envious of the man because not
No,
only
but
has he
that's
got a
it.
good head of hair, but his hair grows
Quick,
That's it.
He's
That's
like
it.
Samson.
And he has the stature even to back it up, you know what I mean?
Big
He's
man,
a
big
giant
hair.
of a man.
Yeah.
The first time actually I saw him, he was barefoot on stage.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was thinking the
You
same
know what I'm
thing.
saying? Yeah, he was
of
barefoot.
course.
I'm thinking,
And it was cold as well when I saw him. So I have to rate him. Big respect, man.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a big supporter as well, man. He's helped me out a lot, so big respect to him as well.
Yeah, man, he's a great guy. He really is a great guy. So thank you definitely for, because I know I actually called him literally last few days. It wasn't like long. I think it was about Sunday. Yeah, Sunday that I sent him a
But
text.
we spoke before Christmas,
Yes,
and
we
he said
did, yeah.
sometime this year,
Yeah.
early in the year. So I was expecting it, but I lost my Instagram and my Facebook. I lost all. I got hacked, and somebody take the thing and delete it or whatever they do with it. I don't even know.
I have no.
So I just lost all the contacts, and I'm like, oh, remember that you said about the podcast, and I didn't have your number. So I was just like, how am I gonna get on this thing? You know what I mean? So yeah, luckily.
Yeah, So I then texted a friend who knows a friend, you know what I'm saying, and stuff, you know. So yeah,
Old
but
school
thank
style.
you. Yeah, man. It was meant to be today.
Yes,
So
that's the
thank
way
you,
to
thank
be.
you very much, man. Thank
But
you.
you see how quick we go back to old school style when
It's
social
true.
media is gone.
Yeah,
you know
it's
what I mean?
true.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things we were talking about last week at the men's group, which is how you meet people. In the old days, people used to walk around to your yard and say, "I haven't seen you for a while,"
Yeah.
and they'd have a cup, whatever it is, tea, drink with you, etc., and talk. Nowadays, people don't pass by in the way they used to, which is a real shame, really.
They pass by your page.
By
online.
your page,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. And if they see it, it's kind of
Yeah.
like,
Same
oh, I've
person
seen you
now.
now. I know.
Yeah. Which means it can be quite difficult to see people. You don't, so people aren't knocking on your door anymore and saying, "Oh, good to see you," etc. There, and I think that's quite a difficult thing for people there because you can go. People can go a long time without someone ever coming around.
Without any real contact.
Yes.
Yeah, but at the same time, you feel like you've seen all the people, you've seen what they're up to.
Yeah.
And it's like a real dichotomy. It's just like the social media is there and it keeps us all connected because, I haven't seen this guy, lives in Jamaica now, I can still see what he's doing and have a quick chat. But at the same time, it's keeping us so distant.
That's it.
Because you're not making the effort to physically meet up anymore or as much as you would.
And I think one of the things we've talked about in some of the groups is that for men in particular, especially as we get older, the ways in which we used to meet, which used to go out, used to go out, go to a dance. We were joking before about going out, etc. There, and over the years, you stop going out as much. You're not going out socialising. You're not in sports clubs anymore, etc. There, so actually, those opportunities to meet friends and associates, they drop off. But you're not replacing it by people popping around to your house. Yeah. So you end up, you spend a lot of time on your own.
Yeah. And now it seems like our meeting place is usually, kind of funerals.
Absolutely. You meet a lot of people at funerals there, and then everyone says we must meet up.
Yeah.
And then people don't do it.
One of the things that funerals people always say, let's not meet like this again. Let's meet before this is the same situation again,
Yeah. But you have to be quite intentional to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I did something last week. So again, like the group on Friday, we were all checking in, and the thing I said to start off was that I was pleased with myself. I was pleased with myself because I'd actually made contact with about 5 or 6 guys about 4 weeks earlier to go to a play. I went to the play at the Crucible last week.
Crucible.
Which was really very good indeed. And the last time all of us had been together was at somebody else's funeral about 18 months ago. So but it took a lot of effort on my part. The effort was just to go on my phone and to suggest a date. That's how much effort it is.
But Franz is of a different generation. I mean, we are in our second act.
He's a young man, okay.
No, actually, I think we are in our third act because probably we are still in your second act, though. You know what I'm saying? Because they say the first 25 is first act, then second 25, and then third 25 after 75, and then it's the fourth act. Some of us never really reach out for that.
All right. So you and I are in our third act.
Third act, in our third act. So this is where we are supposed to make enough, for retirement. Of course, you being retired, so.
All right, so I say third act.
Yeah, third act, man. It is third act. So you still got another quarter, to kind of
tell us what it's like being in the second act still.
I don't even know if I'm actually in that. But I don't think of time as I don't like to think of time as much because however you think of something, that's what manifests and happens. So because time moves so fast anyway, and if you sort of focus on it, it seems to speed up. You know what I mean? So I try to leave it.
Yeah.
And I know sometimes it catches you off guard. You especially with young people, with the kids, they change because they change so much in the features and the height. You know what I mean? Because my son's taller than me now. And I look at him like, man, that's gone so quick and the time's going really fast. But other than that, a lot of times I don't notice. I don't notice the time. I don't put it at the forefront.
Yeah, because they say you're supposed to sort of like that mindfulness thing where you're supposed to sort of like be in the time, whatever it is, be there, be present. I think it was what Ryan was saying last week, be present. Because too often we can be looking backwards and forwards and actually losing the sort of sense of we're here now at this time. So at this moment in time, we're here now. And, it's one of the really nice things about the podcast is you can spend time with the person you're with, having that conversation.
Because a lot of people, they say, you work in my growth. We work to time. In this part of the world, it's like everybody works to time because of scheduling and stuff. But way back home, we work with time. You see what I'm saying? So it's not like just about us chasing the hours and being obsessed with our planners and our calendars, but it becomes like this fluid concept of working with time. Because when you work with time and you respect time, it rewards you for that. It doesn't mean that we are always late. It means we do things on time. You know what I'm saying? When it needs to be done.
When it's the right time.
Yeah, when it's the right time. Because many people were constantly chasing schedules here and there and everywhere, especially here in the West. And then when the day is done, you still feel a sense of nothing was done. You know what I'm saying? But if you work with time, you feel like a sense of achievement at the end of the day because everything you did was intentional. The connections you make with people, the conversations. Yeah. You know what I mean? Sometimes I knew I spent the day without doing jack, but I felt, accomplished.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
With time as well, it's just, there's only now. I feel like it's just now.
Yeah.
It's just the moment because the stuff that's already happened, it's gone.
It's gone.
And whatever's going to happen in the future is going to happen or you're going to make it happen.
Yeah.
Whatever, you're just not sure, it's uncertain, but there's just now that you can really say.
So what are the features of your now at the moment if we broaden that concept of now? You talked about you've got a child of 15, you've got your music, you've got your work.
Yeah. I've got a child at 17 as
17 as well. So I've got two children then. Two children, you've got your music, you've got work as well. These are all big features of now, aren't they?
One of the things as well is if you're not in the now, you like you said earlier, you just miss it. You miss it, and then you look back and you didn't enjoy the thing because you miss it. Like for example, watching the kids grow up. Like it happens so fast, you can easily miss it, and that's something you can never get back. I used to say, for example, I'd look forward to playing a big event, and I'm not. And it's good to have goals and dreams, but I'm like when I'm looking forward to that big event coming up, I'm not fully in the now. Yeah. And then I get to the big event I've been looking forward to, and I'm not in the space. I'm just doing it, and then I look back at the event after it's happened. So, I did this thing that I wanted to do. It just felt meh, or it felt, you know what I mean? But that's because I weren't in the moment at the time.
I was quite surprised when I said to you that I'd seen you at the Queen's Social Club. It was in 2015, and you...
I remember that straight away because that was one of the times I was actually in the moment. I remember that day, and I already had a couple of gigs for Tramlines. Maybe I had 3 gigs earlier in the day, so I'd done a lot, and it already happened to me. I was like, I wasn't in the moment, I didn't really... And I'm like, right, tonight is what it is, and I can... It just it was a perfect night for just being in the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
and it
my
came
memory
across because it was a great night. I mean, you really worked the crowd, and the audience was sort of like, you had us all sort of like bending down and getting back up, and everyone was having a great time. But it was actually coming from yourself and the band.
Yeah, we were definitely having a great time that night, and I feel like now that message is just part of all the musicians I work with now, and we're set up, and that's part of the whole thing that we have to enjoy. We have to have fun. We're playing music that we love to make in the first place, and so then we're going to enjoy it. And I always said to them, even if no one's in the audience or people aren't enjoying it, remember it only takes like 10 people to have a party. There's 10 of us on stage, so let's just go whatever way we're going to have fun.
Yeah.
So if somebody was to ask you, so who is Franz Vaughan?
That's a
you always ask these big ones.
No, come on.
Me like that. I am the son of
Yeah, your daddy.
I'm a Jamaican artist living in the UK.
Is it?
Yeah, and for me to say I'm a artist, it's something that I've not said for years until more recently in my career, because it's something that I was like a bit like, oh, it's not a proper job, it's not a real job, people are judging it, I'm not that good at it, or just all the doubts, so I never actually said, I'm an artist, I'm a musician, but I've accepted that now, and as soon as I accepted that, everything changed.
It changed. So why music? Why music? I mean, what was your journey to?
I'm not sure even why music, because I think it's just being Jamaican, and I remember my first musical experiences. I remember being at my uncle's in the country in Jamaica. This is in Thompson Town. I don't know if you know that area. And he used to have parties. He had a liquor bar, and he used to have parties there, and they were wicked parties. I was only like maybe 4 or 5 at the time.
Yeah.
And my uncle always allowed me to go into the bar and jump on the mic. Well, his friends would always get me on the mic, and I'd obviously be chatting foolishness. But because I was a kid and I enjoyed it, maybe something clicked from there. But I always looked at musicians and artists as people who are born with it and they're there. So I was like, well, I wasn't born with anything like that, so I'm not that. Do you know what I mean? And as I've gone through, I've realized that you can be anything you want. And I try to use myself an example in the music to say, I weren't even a music. At one point, I wasn't a musician. I didn't think I could do this, and I'm doing it now. And I feel like if I can do this, you can do it. Not music, anything you want to do. So.
Yeah, because it's like for me. I mean, like the only time I actually got to know you, I would say probably MOBOs. I probably had seen you before, but just like around the MOBOs, I sat through because I was filming it. I sat through your whole set, and then I suddenly I'm like, oh yeah, Franz Vaughan. But then even like from a genre point of view, because yours is, you can't really pin it into one pigeonhole. You know what I mean? It's like a fusion of stuff.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to pin it.
Yeah.
Because when I started out, I knew what I liked at the time. I was hip hop. But when I first moved to the UK, I was all about dancehall, reggae, and I sort of lost the links. It weren't as easily available as it was in Jamaica and the UK, especially in Sheffield. There's one pirate station called SCR.
SCR was big.
That was my lifeline to my music,
It was everybody's lifeline.
Yeah, there you go.
And then it used to lose it sometimes.
When they got raided.
Put that radio back in the position there.
And when I was just coming from Jamaica, I was like, the access to that type of music was everywhere. Your neighbors would be playing it, your parents playing it. You know what I mean? There's parties. I lived like on a housing scheme. And when they have the parties, you can hear the music everywhere. And as kids, we used to go and stay at the edge of the fence because you weren't allowed in there sometimes. You know what I mean? We stay at the edge of the fence and we have our own little party. And so the music was always there. Yeah, it's big people party. But that's a party you want to go to as a you know what I mean? So yeah, and I can remember
and then you end up as a big person.
Yeah. Some of my cousins, I'm going to Reggae Sunsplash and them things, and they're going for the whole weekend, and I'm like, yo. So those things were there inside me too, which I didn't realize, you know what I mean? And I came here and I felt like I lost a link to the music, and I just thought, I'm listening to pop music or whatever now, and it just kind of faded away, and I became more interested in sport and basketball and girls, you know what I mean? So
usually kind of comes in that you know, sport and girls, you know.
But the music was always there in the background. Me and my brothers messing about with my mother's record. We scratch up so many of our records, like putting our own little parties and trying to be DJ or rap over it, you know.
So how old were you when you?
I was 13 when I first come to the UK.
It's quite a move then, isn't it? You know, moving at teenage years to go from
that's what I'm
home
saying,
to here. And I mean, I've talked with you about my older brother came over here when he was 10, and he's of that generation back in the 60s, where there's a whole sort of like group of people, age group, who came over, and they came over to family. You know, so they came over to their mom and dad, who they hadn't seen for many years. They came over to siblings they probably had never seen. So my brother had never seen his siblings until he arrived here in Britain in 1966. So you came out with your mom and your siblings?
Yeah, I came with my mom and my siblings. My mom already lived there with my stepdad. And then me and my brother, and my little sister as well. And then me and my brothers moved there.
So what was the move like? Was it like, because you know you had to come here and deal with the weather and deal with the...
You know, that was definitely one of the biggest events in my life, because when you're living in Jamaica, you look at foreign, you look at America and England, it's foreign, and it's like almost a mythical place, you know what I mean? So I remember going to school before I left to say bye to all my friends and give them little gifts and say, yo, I'm going to foreign. It's just felt like I'm going to another world, you know what I mean?
Was it sort of like excitement? Was it sort of like trepidation? Was it sort of sadness?
It was a lot of excitement, but a lot of sadness, because I had a really big social group and a lot of family in the area that I lived. So I know I was gonna not be seeing all these people, but at the same time I'd be living with my mom, who I hadn't lived with for a while, and I'd still be with my two brothers and my sister at the time. So there was happiness, but a lot of sadness at the same time, and excitement. So I thought moving to England, to Sheffield, would be like moving to New York City. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's a comparison.
That's what I expected, you know? And like, I got to Sheffield. And it wasn't New York City.
It was no New York City, man.
But what impressed me was the hole in the road. I heard about it in Jamaica. But I just imagine a big hole in a dirt road, you know? So when I came and I saw it, I'm like, oh, you can walk under there.
Yeah, you can walk under the
zone. I came up from Nottingham, but I was still amazed by the hole in the road.
But that's the thing, it's ingenious though.
I can't believe they got rid of it.
That's it. Because there were two, you know, there was one over near, you know, like Fargate way, and then there's one that was near top of the mall. You know, at the
oh yes, there was
around the side. I think
I was never enamored with it.
No, it was interesting because it's like
a fish tank in there.
I didn't like the idea of the hole.
Okay.
It slightly unnerved me, the whole idea that you had this road which suddenly had a big hole in it.
Yeah. I remember thinking with all the double deckers driving out, it's gonna collapse. You know what I
mean? Maybe it was a matter of time, you know, before it collapsed, and maybe that's why they filled the tin. You know what I'm saying? Because for me, I'm always fascinated by every architectural, you know, kind of, I would say probably kind of ideas that the West usually has, you know, because sometimes it don't make sense. You know, like sometimes they got roads working very well, and then suddenly there is no throughway if you are driving and stuff. So there's no changes. It's as if, you know, somebody is there just to mess up with people's minds, you know, like say driving
Sorry about that. That was one of the things you were impressed with the the New York called Sheffield.
No, New York or Sheffield, man.
You really did get the other end of the Atlantic, didn't you? Yeah. Some people were going off to New York and off to Atlanta, and you off to Sheffield. And you know, I love Sheffield. But it's
I've grown to love it now. You know. I'd never seen the terrace houses as well. Because everywhere I lived in Jamaica, the houses were, you had your own space, land around your house, and no matter if you're poor or rich, you just have outside space, and you paint your house whatever color you want. You build it however you want. So to see the uniformity here, and I remember just thinking, I'm going to get lost. And every time I left the house, my stepdad used to draw me a little map of the area to like become like I don't get it.
Make sure you come back. So, at what age then did you suddenly decide that music was going to be a thing that you pursue? Because I know musically you are doing a lot, I mean, especially with the tracks, tracks and all the other kind of stuff. I mean, when was it when you said you know, I'm going to pursue this thing?
It was 30, when I was around 30, when my daughter was born. Because before that I started freestyling, writing. I was writing a lot, but it's something that I was like, well, this is just for me, and I'd share it with my friends, my close friends, you know. But I'd never wanted to go on stage. If I was the first mixtape I made, I didn't want my face on it. I didn't want anyone to know it was me. I just wanted the music out. After I started thinking, this is okay, I wanted it out. I want people to hear it, but I didn't want it to hear it from me.
So do you think you then suffer from that sort of imposter sort of syndrome? Where actually, are you like doubt about yourself?
Because I'm like, well, I'm not a rapper. I wasn't born with it. I shouldn't be doing this, but this is okay, and I want people to hear it, you know? And then after I had my daughter, then I thought, right, I'm going to take things more serious. But I need to support her and make sure I'm a good father. So I actually started studying social work, and that was my mindset. I'm going to get a career and go that way. But I was doing music at the same time, so I started taking that more serious as well. I was taking everything more serious, you know. And as I went on, I realized I had a lot to offer with the music. With social work, doing that, it did open my mind to a lot. And the politics in the UK, like understanding social work and like understanding social problems in the UK, like it really opened my eyes to that. And I feel like I had something to offer to that, but it was taking too much at the same time. And I just felt like with music, from doing social work, it opened more of my mind with music, what I could write about and how I could approach it. And it was a lot of fun, and I felt like I can offer more in that sense. So one day I just decided to quit looking for work or working in that sector and just focusing on music. I saved up some money, and I thought, maybe I've got enough money for a year if I budget right. And in that year, I'll just only concentrate on music and see if it makes a difference. And it made a huge difference.
That's that. I mean, again, last week when we had Ryan talked there about, you know, taking that leap, you know, that leap of faith in yourself there, which and David Campbell, when he's been on as well, he's talked the same there about that sort of, when he was starting out there with being a salesperson, where lots of no's, but each no is never a yes. But it still takes a lot to do, doesn't it? Because you still have all of that self-doubt and how you battle through adversity as well.
Yeah, it's constant doubts and just throwing them to the side. And like I said, through adversity, there's always barriers. There's barriers to start with, and then more barriers. It's constantly barriers, obstacles. But if it's something you love and you have to have the determination to want to do whatever you're doing. The barriers are just become part of the whole thing. It's part of the journey, you know.
And there's a lot of work involved, no matter what you're going to do.
No matter what you decide to do.
There's a lot of work. You've got to get up early, and you've got to put time into it.
That's it. Because working like a 9 to 5 and doing social work, you end up bringing the work home with you as well. So you're almost never, you're always working.
Yeah.
And doing music full time, I'm definitely working 24/7.
Yeah.
You know, it never stops. Sometimes I get out of my bed at 2, 3 in the morning and I'm onto something. Or so it's even more about because it's something that I enjoy. It never feels like work.
Yeah.
So and this is what I tell my kids or tell the young people I work with. Is if you find something that you actually enjoy, you're happy, you're winning.
That passion,
It'll never feel like work.
I mean, again, David Campbell said something when we were at the university, and we had a large group of young people, particularly young men in their 20s and 30s, and he was talking about his business. And I think they were wanting him to come out with lots of technical expertise, but what he came out with was basically about life. It was about life stuff. Whatever it is you're doing, do it to the best of your ability. Be fully dedicated to it, be committed to it, and put the work in.
That's it.
That's literally it. Like says, I couldn't rap at one point. You know what I mean? I always thought, like I said, people are born with it. Like that's what you do. You're born to do that.
Yes.
And but it's not. We're all just born.
So what's on your back in the day they used to say what's on your iPod, you know, like, but what's on your playlist at the moment?
My playlist is so varied. There's a lot of hardcore hip hop still. Griselda, Kendrick, obviously.
Oh yeah, of course.
Really off Nas, D Block. Still Wu-Tang, a lot of hardcore hip-hop.
You're of a generation, aren't you, when you say it like that? Because some of those went past me. And I was listening to Kendrick last night, and I bought his album in about 2014, 15, which I think that was about his second album I bought. And I liked it, but I never got into it. And then I was listening to it yesterday because I think it came out of he performed at the
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, and he was on the radio. I thought that is really good. That is, and I feel like somebody's just discovered him. Apologies for people out there.
But I've really varied taste. I listen to a lot of jazz as well. Quarto alto, ebisoba, more modern jazz. What would you call it?
Neo?
Yeah, kind of.
Because when I was listening to you this morning and your band there, I mean, the band is, first of all, a lot of people there. It's a multi-ethnic band as well. And you've got back to one of your things there.
Can I just say, I work with 2 bands.
2 bands?
Yeah, so it's TC and the Groove Family and Franz Von Band.
I think I was TC and the Groove Band. And there were 10 of you there. And first of all, on the DVD, on the actual YouTube, they're all enjoying themselves. I mean, really, the drummer's there, big smile and everything there.
Yes, big up to Tim every time. It brings so much energy.
And this thing about this sort of fusion, you talk about rap, you talk about your background in dancehall, jazz, but you've also got the Afro bit as well there. I mean, where's that interest come from?
So, all from Jamaica still, listening to music. I used to hear a lot of African music in Jamaica High Life, and at the time I didn't know what it was. I thought it was Latin music. I don't know if there's a little bit of similarity.
No, there is.
So I'll just assumed it was Latin music, you know, and it was just there in the background. And when I started working with bands, I was working with KOG and the Zongo Brigade. And that was all Afro fusion, African rhythms mixed with UK rap, hip hop sort of stuff. And whatever I do, I fully get into it. So I started like researching more African music and artists. And weirdly enough, I'd never heard of Fela Kuti until that point. And it's just opened my eyes. And so all these things with all the different genres of music and life experiences, it just swirls around and cooks, boils under there, simmer until, you know, it's like a pot bubbling of stuff going on, and then you just release bits of it in a song here, a song there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But there's so much waiting to just burst out.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, I it's like I was listening to a track which was more the influence of Fela is you know, like the whole high life, you know, kind of music is very, very noticeable. But there's also like a hint of jazz, because I love jazz, you know. But yeah, but it's also trying to figure out. So initially, was there any fear in basically being the black guy in this multi ethnic group of musicians? Was there any sense of, because you know how judgy we can be as a people, you know what I'm saying? When you come with something that's different, people will either corral you into something.
It's that sort of like stick in your own lane, isn't it? You know, you can get it from outside and you can get it also internal. This is what we expect of you. This is what I expect of myself.
Because when I watch, you know, most of the kind of the live video, the live, you know, kind of shows, I'll say it's like a wide reflection of the indigenous, you know, kind of population. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely, and I feel like they support the music, and it's like a connection. It's like spreading what we have. Like, we've got this thing happening here, and people come to support it. So whoever's there can have it, you know. That's the thing, Because like I did the jazz festival, the Footprints Jazz Festival. Big up to those guys as well. Last January. And it was held at Sadaka.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
That's a very good venue.
Yeah.
Because that's in its... I mean, I saw at Migration Matters, I saw, what's the band, Cimarrons there.
Okay, yeah.
And the audience was an incredibly mixed audience there, with lots of black people there, Asian people there as well. And it was a really great night. So, and that was in the big GTEC place, wasn't it? Which is a really good place.
The G-Mill,
The G-Mill.
The one I did last year was actually upstairs.
Upstairs, yeah.
And I'd say 95% of the audience was white.
Yeah.
And I'd never been in Sadaka before where... Every time I'd been in Sadaka, 95% of the audience is black.
Yes.
You know, so like, wow, this is incredible that this place can host all these, you know, all these different nationalities. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, well, it's music, it's jazz, it's hip hop, rap, dancehall, all of these music, and this is a space that's been played, and this is an audience. So. Yeah, I don't know if I've gone off point.
But no, you make sense.
Well, I was
I
was listening to on the radio on Saturday. It was Jam Supernova.
Yeah,
she plays on Six Music.
Yeah, she's one of our big supporters.
She was in because she was the. I think she was in Sheffield last year for Migration Matters. But she was talking to a guy. She was in Ghana, and she was talking about high life, and she was talking to this Ghanaian musician who is a big high life musician, and he was saying that he was in many respects trying to make high life popular again amongst the Ghanaian youngsters. Because what they're interested in is Afrobeats, hip hop. You know, that's what young Ghanaians are into.
So I'm working with a young Ghanaian artist at the moment. Not really mentoring him because he's incredible. And he's featuring on my new album coming out. And he mixes high life with drill. Drill is like the latest, you know. And I'm like, man, and he plays me some of his stuff. It's incredible. And I'm like, for a younger person to be like really holding on to traditional high life music, that was amazing to see. So so he's one of the highlight features on
and
my
that is
album.
one of those features, again, back to this sort of notion of life in the broadest sense, that actually things move on and they change and they get influenced by different things. There's lots of stuff out there which you can be influenced with.
Sure.
So what motivates you musically? No, not even. What motivates you to kind of create?
It's just something just there to. It's like it's almost like a spark, and I feel like that was lit. Like quite a few years ago, and it's just never gone out. It's just constantly blazing. It's never, like some people have writing blocks, or like there's times when I'm not writing, but I'd never say I've got a writing block. I don't feel like it's possible. It might be, I don't know. It's never happened. Touch wood.
It's not happened yet.
But it's just something. The spark is always there to write or create something, and I don't feel like it's going to stop because of I take in what's happening in the environment. That's what I write about. And there's so much things that, especially with young people, and we were speaking earlier about the stabbing also in school recently, and you asked me how the young people are, like how did my son, you know what I mean, how they deal with it. And I was saying to you, which is really sad, is that there's been a few people that I've known, that's my kids have also known, that's died of stabbing, and it's almost like they've become accustomed to it, you know what I mean? And it's really sad. That's how we live right now.
And so, it's very scary as well for young people, isn't it? It's for all of us, it's terrible. As a parent, but for the children to grow up with this idea that actually this is not uncommon. When it should be one of those rarest and rarest of things which children don't know anything about.
And before that, well, that's kind of always been an issue in some way, but even if that wasn't there, there's so many other social issues that people are voiceless, and I feel like if you've got a platform, you have to speak about it. So I'm always going to have something to write about in that sense. And if I didn't have a platform, I'll be trying to create a platform anyway, because these things are all important. And so that's, at the moment, I feel like that's my inspiration, just to put out more messages. I'm not like, I'm going to change anything, I'm going to stop knife crime or gun crime. And I know one person can't do it, but if I can change one young person, you know what I mean, then...
But that change one person can be sometimes just that actually one person has listened to your music and decided that actually, you know what, I'm going to put more effort into this, or I'm going to do something more of something. And if it's just that one person has been sort of like impassioned by whatever you do, then that's in itself a good thing there.
Because sometimes it's like I always ask a lot of artists around this whole idea of the artist being a tortured soul, because in the sense that you are giving. The creative process can be a lonely process, and also a lot of creatives have spoken about their own torment and their own, kind of sense of, I won't say depression. Because if you look at people like Robin Williams, all these prolific have spoken about being the creative process being a very lonely and a sense of, this. I won't say doom. I say like darkness that associated with it.
It's like sometimes I feel like I'm not writing whatever I'm writing. It's just coming through. You know what I mean? So it's almost like you become a vessel for some weird information or feelings or perspective on something. So if it's a lot of negative things or pretty depressing things, then it's flowing through you whether you want it or not. Do you know what I mean? And I can see how that could affect you.
Do you find that then to be a sort of like, I don't call it a healing process, but it's a process in itself which actually helps you to manage your own sense, your own mental health, for want of a phrase?
Definitely. So with the mental health, I feel like I'm so lucky to have music, and I was speaking to other musicians about it. For example, one of my friends going through a breakup, he's a musician, and he just went in the studio and just made these incredible music just to let it out. And we had a long talk, and we're just like, as musicians or artists, you're lucky to have that thing, So it definitely helps.
So it becomes more like I'll say like, not like something to channel any emotion to a point that at least anything negative. I mean, like happy music. I have come across happy music, but in reality, if you look at music, really, it's not really.
You're right.
You know what I mean?
I mean, my three favorite albums are Natty Dread by Bob Marley.
Yes.
And that's got a lot of pretty heavy stuff on it.
Yeah.
Then it's Marvin Gaye's What's Going On.
Yes.
Which has got a lot of heavy stuff on it. And then I've got Parliament, which has got a lot of stuff on it.
But that's life, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. It's a reflection of life. And I think hip hop, especially hip hop jazz, and hip hop and jazz has always been pretty reflective of either the era or whatever. Because
whatever's going on.
Whatever's going on, and I'm glad that I'm not involved in music as much as I used to be invested.
But do you think then that I was in teaching for a long while, and I saw over the years that those opportunities for young people in comprehensive schools to experience the arts has dwindled.
Oh yeah.
And if that is the case, do you think that's something they're missing? In terms of being a way in which they could sort of, like, as you say, channel and to just process some of their feelings.
Working at tracks, this is one of the things we recognise. Yeah. And the young people work with, they definitely have. I feel like we've put that message through that this is a way to express yourself and to deal with some problems. There shows you options. It's not just music. Yeah. It's so much more.
Yeah. And then it's like, if you ever look at the, say, private schools, be it a day private school or public school, they'll have fantastic sports facilities. They'll have a fantastic sort of like theatre. They'll have all these sort of extra things there, and you think to yourself, you can go now into some of the sort of like normal comps there, and what used to be there is actually no longer there.
No longer there, no longer there. I blame it on the government.
To something else, converted it to something else there. Yeah. And you might say, well, these youngsters have been denied something.
Yeah, it's the same as all the youth clubs being shut down. Yeah. All the youth clubs, play areas, you think, what should young people do, you know? With Lucy Rivas, the director of track, she's just started up a youth club, and it's and it's got that, you walk in and it does feel like a youth club, There's a pool table, there's music going on, but at the same time it's also, you can come there to write anything you want, poetry, music, there's drum kits set up, it's full. It's full with young people, and I know it's going to get even better because that's missing from the city. I don't know if it's national, but in Sheffield, all the youth clubs are gone.
It's crazy. Which part of the city is this youth club?
It's on Mary Street in the city centre. So it's just up from Red Tape, BBC Radio, carry on going up. So it's pretty central, and we've got the tracks operate from Red Tape Studios, Leadmill, and now this youth club. So it's like a little triangle thing close by the train station. It's accessible.
So for those who are listening and you want your children to at least learn something outside and in a safe environment, probably it's a space where they can go and...
Yeah, and there's excellent mentors there working with the young people. Just check out Tracks UK for some information.
Yeah. So for you creatively, so what can we expect to get from you, like in the next few?
I've got an album coming. I've finished writing it. I've got the masters back. It's almost ready to go. So, and a lot of the things we spoke about, it's there in the album, because actually this is my debut album. This is I know I've been doing it for a few years, but this is my first album. I've done mixtapes, EPs, and like we were saying before, the doubt has always been there. Like, I've kind of started an album before, but I got scared, I got doubtful, and I'll just do an EP, But the doubt's gone with that.
So how do you feel now then? Is it sort of the excitement?
Yeah, it's excitement, and it's a bit like, it's kind of like
Christmas.
taking all off, taking off clothes and walking
It's like
outside
Christmas.
judgment. Yeah.
Walking down the street, bare naked.
Like Christmas.
like it's just literally like being judged. You know what I mean?
Walking down the streets bare naked or bare chested, brethren. And the drillers just like.
So this new album, you go under the name of
Franz Von.
Franz Von.
Yeah.
The album is called
Take What You Want.
Take What You Want.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Why did you come up with that title, Take What You Want?
So the last release I did was the EP called People to Power. And it was like about empowering people and remember as people, as a community, we make our own destiny, we've got the power. And it's all following on from that, and it's like, now that you feel empowered, if you do feel empowered, and where do you now put that power? Where do you use it? So it's almost like directions. It's like a guide. And I've decided on Take What You Want because it's like it's now encouraging people to have that power to go to take what you want.
Yes.
Seriously, go and take it. I'm not saying doing it in an aggressive way. It's a difference. It's more assertive rather than aggressive. But you know what you want. Don't feel like it doesn't. You're not part of the
sometimes you can
system.
feel like you could apologise for it. It's not for me.
That's
and
it,
I that feeling for many black people in this country, and that sense of that's not for me. I stay in my lane. I stay what I'm supposed to do.
I'll give you a little example. So for years, I've never taken anything back to a shop.
Yes.
You know, to buy an item at and it don't fit right. I'm like, I can't take this back, man. It's like, but when I was in there in the first place, I already felt like I think I'm gonna steal something. So now to take it back, I feel a bit. You know what I mean?
Feel some type of way.
And it's like now, like if I was speaking to someone now, I'd be like, no man, take that back, take it back. You know what I mean? You paid your money for it. You know what I mean? You've got every right as everyone else.
They'll give you the shop then.
So that's what the album is about.
Even like what my boys usually say, that when they're talking about Bugsy, Bugsy Malone in Manchester, they say, we believe everything Bugsy says. Now they'll be saying, Franz Von says, take what you want,
But it's a lovely, what you're saying there is really important because, I've been a part of a walking group for a long while.
That's another one.
When we started, the idea was that actually, beautiful British countryside belongs to us as well. So why are we denying ourselves the opportunity to enjoy such beautiful? And when I say beautiful countryside, I'm talking about even the parks of Sheffield. There was one guy came walking with us once, and he was born in Sheffield there, and he hadn't been to, I think it was Endcliffe Park, and we walked up towards Ringlow. For 40 odd years, he'd been once because he went on a school trip. And there's so many of things like that, I think.
So I was lucky because when I came to Sheffield, my stepdad, he was white. His dad now, rest his soul. But he was an outdoorsy person, a cyclist, a climber. You know what I mean? He's always out there, always took us to the countryside. So I got to experience that. And now my daughter, she's always in the countryside. Like on Christmas Eve, she went and slept in the countryside with her friends, It's like, they've got a term for it. It's even got a name, man. I'm like, where are you going? You're gonna go sleep where?
You say your stepdad was.
Pardon?
You said your stepdad was white.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yes, Sheffield, born and bred.
Next time you come, that's how we're gonna explore.
Okay, yeah, we can, man, because it's given me a wider viewpoint.
No, because it's like you don't really hear that. I mean, the only time I hear Tommy Davidson, the comedian, he talks about being adopted by white parents, and the fact that to him it never was an issue in the years like white brothers and sisters. To him it wasn't an issue until it was. You know what I'm saying?
Which is often the case.
Which is often the case. Because
one of my sisters is, she looks white. She's mixed race, but and you won't be able to tell where. Oh, maybe you would, but So,
no. But now I find that very, very fascinating because it's like, because subconsciously I think also the fact that your music is very inclusive. I think sometimes 'cause unconsciously we produce what we know, what is around us, what feeds us.
Yeah,
In
I
essence,
like,
you know what I'm
the
saying?
phrase there, what feeds us, because
Yeah,
that
what
feeds us
feeds
a
us,
sense of
yeah.
actually, like you've got so many different influences.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can actually sort of like, I'm not going to hear that,
Yeah,
or I am
yeah.
going to hear that. And I can hear in that something I like,
Yeah.
something which sort of resonates with me, something which
That's it.
actually has a sound to it there. So when I listened, when Lungani said, we've got Franz von, I thought, Franz von? And then I looked you up.
You thought
and
he
I
was a
said,
German dude, you know? German dude.
Yeah, I thought, where are we going with this? And I listened to, and I saw that actually, you know, I had seen you before, and I listened to you on your band on YouTube. And what I really loved was the horn section.
Yeah.
And the horn section, which is back to the high life.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is to the jazz.
Yeah.
It is to the sort of like 70s funk bands like Brass
Yes.
Construction,
Yes.
etc. I'm giving my age away with Brass Construction. And then there's another thing there you say, and I am so envious of you there, that you did some music with Tony Allen.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know,
So yeah, this was with Onipa, with KOG,
Yeah.
Tom XL, and it was his drums, Tony
Yes,
Allen
yeah,
drums. So yeah, the track's called Chicken Not a Fly.
yeah.
Yeah. one of my
Because again, he's
favorites,
another person I discovered really late.
yeah. Me too. Me too.
really,
Yeah.
really late there.
Yeah.
And then you know you start to hear about his, you know, his involvement. Well,
Yeah, and
he's
his
the sidekick to
contribution.
Fela, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah, exactly, and more or less invented a whole genre
Yeah.
of music. Yeah, rest in peace as well. They put on a beautiful show for him in London just after lockdown, and I didn't get to go, but the pictures, I'm so sorry I missed it, but the pictures and the videos,
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah.
So I mean, we usually ask, you know, everybody who comes
Can I
on
ask
the...
him one before that? Which
Oh, yeah,
is,
go on.
when are you next performing in Sheffield or where or thereabouts? Be it Manchester, be it Leeds or Nottingham?
I haven't got anything booked in Sheffield at the moment. I've got I'm jumping on someone else's set this Saturday at Factory Floor. It's the Funky Drummer crew. He's having a night, Funky Drummer and Friends, and he's just invited. He's a DJ and a promoter, but he's invited some jazz musicians and singers and rappers.
And the
to
Factory
just
Floor
jump.
is
It's in Kellam Island.
Kellam Island. Well, see, I don't know anywhere in
Yeah,
town.
because it's like a lot of
newish.
things
I know
happening.
Kellam
Yeah,
Island, but I don't
it's
know any places now.
Yeah. Yeah, because we usually ask, you know, so what's your thing? What is that thing that kind of sets you in that space, you know, of good mental health and stuff?
I wouldn't even say my mental health is that good because I've been suffering from anxiety recently, and before it happened, I always used to look at anxiety like someone's having a panic attack. I'm like, no man, snap out of that, you know. It's like, come on, man, you know. But when it happens and you realize you've got no control, so I wouldn't say my mental health is the best at the moment, but I try, and music definitely helps. Like knowing my children are there helps. So and just having good people around you.
So
But
at the moment, it's your music and good people at the moment for you.
And being able to speak, being able to reach out to someone at least and speak. You don't want to keep it to yourself and bottle it up. And like we were saying about earlier, making the effort to go out and connect with your friends and people, which can be the most difficult
But also,
part.
you said something else there, which I think is important, which is, you know, when people sometimes say to you, "How are you?" and you're not feeling very good, so you say, "Yeah, I'm all right." And actually, I'm not all right.
No,
And
but that's the
actually,
thing.
it's important to say, "I'm not all right" sometimes, and then people, you know where you are, other people know where you are as well.
Just for people listening, there's also a mental health guide for Sheffield, which you can if you just Google it, search Sheffield Mental Health Guide, and it'll give you links to different services. It's like an access point. That's produced by Flourish.
Oh, yes, Flourish up in near Sadaka. Near Sadaka.
I'm on the trustee board, so everywhere I go, try to like mental health stuff. Just like remember the mental health guide is there. There might be some information in it that can help someone. So if you know someone suffering with any type of mental health or they look like they might need, just check out the mental health guide and see if there's a service in there that can.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Oh, thanks a lot, bro. Thank you for.
Real thank you.
No, thank you.
No, real big thank you.
Yeah,
because it's been a pleasure to talk with you. There's so many things. I would love to talk to you so much more.
We'll bring you back, bro.
I'll talk to you about music.
When the album comes out, when it comes out. No. When the album is out, we'll come back. And probably. If we are like, we could probably kind of even have an acoustic version of something.
I'd love to. Come and join us for a walk as well.
Because, I'm back out. Yeah, man, back out in the countryside. See, that's another thing that's good for mental health.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Sorry, I watched some of your videos. You do some talks where. You know what I mean? You're talking and you're filming yourself, and I'm like, I'll be watching it. I'm like, yeah, man, yes. So you know what I mean? There's already things I'd love to come and chat about. So.
Yeah, man. You mean like the TikTok stuff, which I usually do sometimes?
No, you've got some good topics on. You make some good points, man. So. Yeah, I feel like we could sit down. Now that I've met you as well, man, we could sit down and have a long talk. So.
Yes, absolutely. And it's so good to talk.
It is definitely good.
Yeah. And I'm reading a book at the moment for my book club, which is by It's by Zora Neale Hurston, and it is something about Gods Have Eyes, and it's written about 1930 something, and it's set in American Deep South. But one of the features of it is that people are sitting on the porch.
Yeah.
And they're just talking, like in Jamaica. That's how they talk as well.
That's
all day. People just walk by and they talk. Yeah. And actually you think to yourself, boy, I could do with a bit of that. They joke, they talk seriousness there.
When I go back to Jamaica, you have your dinner. As soon as the dinner's finished and cleared up, it just happens naturally.
It does.
Everyone sat down and you just... Some deep conversation, the funniest jokes you'll be on the floor and laughing because people are good storytellers.
Yes, absolutely.
They become amazing at timing and telling jokes.
Yes, absolutely. And that's something we don't do here.
No,
when we were growing up, we did do it.
Yeah, we did. Now we eat with our phone right there on the TV.
It's this here now, no one comes round to your house.
What I would suggest, we could meet up at Donald's house because he bakes. So
I love the way this man
So go to Donald's for dinner every time.
Man. We're going
Thanks for the invite.
We like some tea and some cake.
Very English. With the common Englishman already.
See, when my stepdad come in the house, first thing you have to do is make him a cup of tea. You know what I mean? You're walking and say, it's like a bloody oven in here. No matter if the heating's on or not, it'll be freezing cold. It's like a bloody oven in there, and then it has its cup of tea, So I'm ready.
Thanks a lot, bro. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
I loved it. I really did love that. That performance in 2015 was absolutely brilliant.
Remember, that was a long time ago, and the performances are so much better now. So
that's why I was asking you. When I asked that question, that was for me.
Okay.
That wasn't for the audience. That's for me. I need to know when you're playing next so I can go there.
Because when I saw him at the MOBOs, it's just like he just owned the space. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. So, guys, I lost my Instagram and all my socials, so... That's kind of the reason I haven't got any bookings right now as well, because I can't. There's nowhere to publicize it. After I lost it, I thought, well, I'm old school anyway. It's a good break, and then I realized that actually probably 90% of my bookings, my announcements goes through that. So I've had to start a new page. The page is Franz Von Music.
Okay, Franz Von Music.
Yeah, so please add me up, guys, and that's
on
where
Instagram.
Instagram, and or TikTok. That's where all the information will be for now. Yeah. And it's just a bit sad that it happened just as I'm ready to do my debut album. You know what I mean? But it's life, man. I feel like it's part of the hurdles that we'll go through. You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely we'll even put it. Like usually people say, here. That's the way the announcement.
Right.
It's right.
So and it's Factory Music.
Factory Floor on Saturday with Funky Drummer.
Funky Drummer
and friends. Really good promoter on the Sheffield scene.
All right. Thank you very much, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man.
Thanks again.
Thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform and never miss an episode. Until next time, keep those conversations going and the clippers buzzing.
My track session, there's working with this one. come in.
So you what the tracks or the students refer.